The Internet Computer Protocol has been, if we're being brutally honest, one big letdown since it was launched in 2021. If you had invested in this protocol back in 2021, you would have enjoyed 2 years of consistent downside. Not great. However, things are beginning to turn around for this top 20 altcoin. Over the last 4 months, we've seen the price of ICP increase by more than 300%, and we're seeing ICP in the Internet Computer Protocol popping up on socials and here on YouTube. So to evaluate this project, as always, I have been through ICP's latest white paper, its website, community forums, socials, uncovered its history and its tokenomics to save you hours in your decision on whether to place your investment capital into this altcoin project or not. All that I ask for in return is that you hit the like button down below and you subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the content. So why was the Internet Computer Protocol created in the first place? Well, from day one, the intention of ICP has always been to become the next evolution of the internet, and also the next evolution of the blockchain. The best explanation that I've actually heard for ICP when researching this project came from Guy at Coin Bureau, and most of you out there will probably have come across this channel. Go and check it out if you haven't. And he said that all blockchain projects that exist today still rely upon the internet that is centralized. So the internet is still controlled by a handful of organizations that crypto projects still rely on for services such as data storage, computing, and front-end applications. Therefore, if those handful of organizations wanted to ban all blockchain-related elements, the crypto market would be in serious trouble. So the Internet Computer Protocol wants to be an answer to this very problem, and it has developed a technology stack that offers all of the benefits of the traditional internet, such as the speed, the scalability, with all of the benefits of the blockchain, such as the trustlessness, the decentralization, and the security. Hence the name, the Internet Computer. So it can be thought of as a computer built directly for the internet that aims to enhance the internet by leveraging blockchain tech. Right off the bat, I want to say that this is an extremely complex altcoin project, so you'll have to forgive me if I do get anything wrong here, but I'm going to try my best, and I've done a lot of research, so let's dive in. First, I want to look at the similarities between ICP and other blockchains. Much like other blockchain networks, the Internet Computer runs on a network of decentralized data centers that are located all over the world, which we can see on this map here. There are then multiple nodes at each of these data centers, and these are grouped into something that's called subnets. At the time of filming this video, we can see that there are a total of 1,398 node machines that currently make up the network, and these are located all over the world. And that is pretty much where the similarities end. So in terms of the infrastructure so far, we have data centers right at the very bottom. Then we have subnets, which are just above that. Then we have nodes that make up those subnets. And then the first difference that I want to mention is that each subnet uses a novel consensus mechanism known as a threshold relay or chain key technology. The simple explanation of this is that a selection of nodes in each subnet is selected to produce a new block based on the number of ICP coins that it has staked. Subnets are often compared to parachains in the Polkadot ecosystem. So in the Polkadot ecosystem, we have these parachains that sit on top of the main central relay chain, and the relay chain is one that manages consensus and security. And it's these subnets that live on the external periphery of the Internet Computer Protocol architecture that host the decentralized applications. Then we come to the smart contract level. As we know of most blockchains, decentralized applications are composed of a collection of smart contracts all working together. Well, in the case of the Internet Computer Protocol, these are referred to as canisters. And based on what I read, canisters can be thought of as almost like an upgrade to smart contracts with increased flexibility. The interesting thing here is that canisters can actually make copies of themselves, and then they can also be hosted in specific subnets within the network. And it's basically all of this internal architecture put together, these powerful data centers with subnets that are hosting canisters that then make up the decentralized applications, that allows for speeds that are comparable to the internet. One important point that I do want to make a note of is that thanks to the infrastructure, we also need to be aware that transactions that don't include some form of exchange on the Internet Computer Protocol are gasless. There are no fees that need to be paid, just like it would be on the usual internet. In comparison, on other layer 1 blockchains, all transactions, regardless of what you are doing on, are charged a gas fee. Finally, another crucial difference is that when using the Internet Computer Protocol, you have to generate a digital internet identity using either a laptop, mobile device, or a USB key. Each of these internet identities then corresponds to a specific crypto wallet, and it is therefore your internet identity that is the most crucial thing in this ecosystem. It's used for all of your transactions. The internet identity is key. So that is just a small snippet of how the Internet Computer Protocol works and some of the differences that it has in comparison to other layer 1 blockchains. But what's now interesting is to look at where the Internet Computer Protocol has come from. What is its foundation? Who first launched it? What is its team? That's what I want to look at next. And the big answer here is that the Internet Computer Protocol was created and launched by the Dfinity Foundation, or the Dfinity Organization, whatever you want to call it, which is a non-profit organization based out of Switzerland. It is headed up by Dominic Williams, but the actual team consists of about 1,500 people based on my research, which makes it one of the largest development teams in the entire crypto industry. Now, interestingly, based on what I read, Dominic Williams has been focused on improving blockchain technology since 2013. So he is a veteran in the space. He's been in the space for over a decade, started with a blockchain called Pebble back in 2014, before turning his attention then to another vision, which was the world computer. Work on the Internet Computer Protocol, at the time thought of as this world computer, began in 2016 with seed donations raised on the ICP token back in 2017. The formal white paper was then published in 2018 with the network and the coin eventually launching to the public in May 2021. Unfortunately, since the launch of ICP mainnet and the token in 2021, the price of ICP has collapsed. And this is the crucial question here. Can ICP ever return back up to those all-time high levels after such a massive collapse? And before we try to answer that question, we need to take a look at the ICP tokenomics. So as we've already mentioned, ICP is the associated coin of the Internet Computer Protocol, and at the time of shooting this video, the price stands at $13.81. The market cap of the token sits at just over 6 billion, 6.3 billion to be precise, which means that it is falling within the large cap category of altcoins. Out of the 514 million ICP coins that make up the total supply, we have 458 million in circulation. And if you whittle that down to percentage terms, that is approximately 88%. So quite a high percentage of circulating supply, which means that the worst of ICP's dilution should now be behind this project, which is good. When we then look at the price chart in comparison to the market cap chart, well, we start with the price chart. We can see that it's had that initial spike back in 2021, May of 2021, and then we've seen consistent downsides since then. However, we've had a little uptick over the last quarter. Since December, if we go back to the yearly scale, we can see that it bottomed in October around $5 mark, $3 mark, maybe even lower than I initially said, $3. But it has since spiked up to $13 over the last couple of months. Throughout December and through January, we have seen it climb. If we then compare that back to the market cap, we can see that the market cap has also increased over the last year. But then if we go back to the all-time high chart, we can see that the market cap was peaking around 53 billion back in 2021 when it initially launched. Wow, this had a lot of interest. But we can see now that the market cap is around the $6 billion mark. So nowhere near all-time highs for market cap, nowhere near all-time highs for price. Can the demand side of ICP now drive price higher in the future? Let's take a look at that. So what is the ICP coin used for in the ecosystem that could help to drive demand for this coin? Well, first up, the ICP coin is used for governance and staking in the ecosystem. Nothing groundbreaking here, but ICP holders that are staking their ICP coins get voting rights. The longer holders choose to stake, the more voting rights that are awarded. Makes sense. Secondly, we've got ICP that is required to pay for all of the internet computers' resources, whether that is for data storage, which you can do on the Internet Computer Protocol, or computational power. So if dApps want to leverage those services, they have to pay in ICP. And this point I want to dwell on just a little bit longer because all of this links back to the fact that the majority of transactions are gasless on the Internet Computer Protocol. So they're gasless for the end users, but for dApps and Web3 developers in the background, they still need to pay for services that are going on to make sure that the apps run. So unlike Ethereum or Solana, for example, where every transaction fee is taken on by the end user, in the Internet Computer Protocol ecosystem, each dApp developer that creates and uploads canisters for the deployment of an application must pay transactions by locking up a certain amount of ICP coins. To do this, developers have to then convert ICP into something called cycles, and that's what we can see on the website here. We can see burn for cycles. And this is an important point because that process is a crucial one for potentially taking ICP from the market. And that's because these cycles are burned. So the tokens that are used to pay for cycles are effectively burned. And while this isn't a lot at the moment because the usage of the Internet Computer Protocol hasn't been significant enough, it is a system whereby if the user activity increases, this deflationary mechanic will also increase. So it will be stripping ICP coins from circulation. Whether it's enough to offset or even reverse inflation, it remains to be seen, but it is definitely a factor that you want to consider. And then finally, ICP's third use case is that it is used to reward those voting on governance proposals and to reward subnet and data center operators that keep the network operational. So for all of network operations, ICP is used to reward those keeping the network going. And there we have it. Those are the main points to take away from ICP's tokenomics. My final section in this video, as always, is to do with the risks involving the Internet Computer Protocol, of which I have 4 that I want to talk about. My first risk is that while there are not many other projects that are trying to achieve what the Internet Computer Protocol is trying to achieve, ICP still has to compete with hundreds of other layer 1s trying to fight for Web3 adoption. The question is, do we think it can outperform them and steal enough market share that will then send the price of ICP higher? Secondly, the Internet Computer Protocol is verging on the side of an older protocol, and it can't benefit, I don't think, as much from this new and shiny effect that younger altcoin projects can. And although it is old, I don't think it's truly battle-hardened just yet. I don't think it's truly been tested to its limits because it just hasn't been adopted as much as other layer 1 blockchains when you compare it to the likes of Solana, for example, which we've seen outages on because of how much adoption it's had. Thirdly, although it is gasless, which greatly improves the ease of use, and I could see people using it because it is very similar to using the internet. Finally, on the surface of it, the Internet Computer Protocol appears to be decentralized. However, there appears to be this centralized nervous network, or the NNS, which I don't fully appreciate and understand, but that seems to control all of the key operations for the protocol. So what's the fail-safe if that gets compromised? I haven't got an answer to that, and maybe you do, so let me know in the comments. But after all of those risks, I have to say the Internet Computer Protocol is one of the most interesting protocols I've dived into since doing these deep dives. The ambitions are clearly sky high, which is amazing. You should always aim way higher than you think you can achieve. But with the upsides and also the risks now weighed up, is this an altcoin that should make it onto your altcoin shortlist? Should you be watching it? As always, this will be different for each and every one of you. Each of you will have different risk tolerances and different personal situations that will depend and shape the risk that you are willing to take on. So in no way, shape or form is any of this financial advice. This is just purely my opinion. But for me, the ICP coin does not fit with my portfolio and my strategy and will therefore not be making it onto my own altcoin shortlist. And I'll explain briefly why. I actually really like the fundamentals of this project. I think what it is trying to achieve is incredible, and I think its clever architecture puts it in a very good position to potentially achieve that one day. I think because of its large ambitions and its history, it's also attracted so much attention from the eyes in the crypto community, which is also a good thing. You want eyes on your project. Where it fails for me is that upside potential. Is this a good return on investment for ICP? The top layer 1 protocols during the last crypto bull market all peaked around the $100 billion mark. There weren't many. I think Ethereum was the only one to go above that level. I can only think of Cardano, Solana, and BNB chain getting around that mark. I don't think any others got above that. So can the Internet Computer Protocol, bearing in mind it hasn't had the same adoption as those other layer 1 blockchains, can it reach those $100 billion levels in the next crypto bull run? Because we are expecting more liquidity in this next crypto bull run, so we would expect, therefore, higher market caps overall. But could it get to $100 billion? Perhaps. But let's say that it does get to $100 billion. A market cap of $100 billion for ICP is a 20x from here. And a 20x is incredible. That is an amazing return. But for me, I think this is a really risky 20x. It would need to outcompete and take away market share from all of the other layer 1 options that are currently out there, and also the layer 2 options that are out there now in the market that weren't around in 2021. And that is a feat that I think is going to be just too much risk in terms of the risk that I'm willing to take on for my own portfolio. So purely because I think there are safer places to park investment capital for a 20x return, ICP is not one that I'm going to be pursuing. But it will be really interesting to see where ICP ends up as we peak during the next crypto bull market. If you want to know exactly where I think the price of ICP might go in the future, I'll be recording a price prediction video in the future. And when that video is completed, I will leave a link to that video on the screen somewhere above. And if you have enjoyed this video, I would love to have you as a subscriber on my 80/20 crypto newsletter. The newsletter was first launched back in March of 2023 with the whole idea of bringing people into the world of crypto in a safe way. Safe being the most important part of this. Finally, all that's left for me to say is don't put more money into any cryptocurrency than you can afford to lose. These are high risk investments and they should be considered alongside a variety of other assets in a portfolio. Thanks so much for watching and I'll catch you in the next video.